Ndinoda kuti nyika isiwe vanhu vangu inguva yedu hatingatadzi kubudirira Mwari ari parutivi pedu rambai muchirwa
My hitters don't die, the real hitters gon' shine and my people gon' rise. Cause we're born to win it. I ain't saying
how the hell do I not have a deal? I swear this thing is a real dog. I play it fan off, the cowards that they can't feel. The wife try to console me like it's coming, baby, chill. She don't understand. I'm the only one that's real. I remember the third grade. Them kids, they had waves. I had them BDBs. You know that Zimbabwean bread. So they do shades and your boy hit the stage. Press play and all the chicks was like, yeah. While boys was moving bricks, I was moving chips. Yeah. If she gave me calculus, gave her a mouthful of it. Heat rose to this thing, boy, I bet on myself.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. And y'all know I'm so elated to be back with you all on this magnificent Monday. Of course, it's also a Black Star Power Monday because we got Kenneth Kellogg in the building from Das Rheingold, coming to you from Seattle Opera. This is an amazing show, but I'm excited that he is here. I get to talk to him all about his work in opera, how he got started, and some of the roles he's played that I've been able to see him in, y'all. So I'm a real fangirl over here, excited that he is in the building with me. But of course, y'all know it is the top of the show. So it's a great time for you to participate with us. You. Go ahead. Tag and share this stream with folks who you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on The Day with Trae. If you cannot watch us, we definitely have you covered because you can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. Y'all will find me on Google, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Apple Music. I'm telling you, there's like 200 plus platforms. So pick your favorite one and y'all will find me there. But excited to be visual for those of you who can watch this TV show and really appreciate y'all who have been spreading the word. Before I get into it today with Kenneth, of course, it has been a while since y'all have seen my face. And I'm so grateful for the time to be able to take away and do some self-diving, y'all, in Kemet, which is the name for ancient Egypt, because it wasn't called Egypt all the time. It was called Kemet. So I was there with 117 amazing people from all over the world who came together to do the Kemet New Know Thyself tour. And I tell y'all, we got hours and hours of footage to share. So I'm going to try to whittle it down. And on one of these future episodes, y'all will see me do a whole promotion for us to share some of the great lessons that we learned over there, but also some of the great history that was there put by ancestors thousands of years ago that really was so enlightening to all of us on the tour. And it's one of those things that I would highly suggest people go and check out, because sometimes Egypt isn't like a widely, chosen destination when you're thinking about traveling. But this was far beyond a vacation. Many folks really identified it as a pilgrimage, as an educational tour, as a boot camp, they were saying, because it was day and night. We were learning. We were out at the, temples and the murs, which, we know as the pyramids. We were out at these amazing sites early in the morning, trying to beat the sun, because the sun was grueling, y'all. And then we would come back, have a break or lunch, and then get into a lecture about all that we saw. And so there was so much information. Shout out to Kemet New Tours and Ashra and Mawiwa Kwesi for their tireless dedication to this work and the efforts that they brought to make sure that they could do this. Now it's 41 years of existence of taking people back to Kemet and really giving folks the understanding and the exposure to the truths that are etched in stone, as they call the books in stone, by our ancient ancestors. And it was just so heartwarming, y'all, for me to be in the presence of greatness, of our ancient ancestors. When you see these sites on TV or on the internet or in books, it just, I'm telling you, it doesn't do it justice. When you're next to 100-foot tall monuments that have kings and queens etched in the stone, to really understand that there is brilliance that we come from, it was to say the least, it was like a lifetime experience that I am excited to share with more and more people. So I'll probably be going back, y'all, because it's like you only get to scratch the surface. And we did all kinds of things. So we got tons of great footage to show y'all all those great things. I just wanted to give you a little snippet of what your girl's been up to while I was gone. And I got to give a huge shout out to my Converge team. I know there was plenty of great people behind the scenes making things happen, and plenty of great people in front of the camera making things happen as well. Shout out to yeah. Okay, sorry y'all. I'm going to give my shout out right after this short break. Hold on. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I just want to encourage people to really believe in yourself, even when nobody else does. Because it's going to be like that. It's going to be like that. The people that you feel like should be supporting you when you first come out the gate, they may not support you. Your family, your friends, they may not get on board until you're successful or whatever. But just keep going and believe in yourself. Support yourself first, and the support will come. The reciprocity will come. But if you don't do it for yourself, you can't really expect anyone else to do it for you. So my biggest piece of advice is you show up even when no one else shows up. You just keep showing up, because that consistency tells the universe that you're serious. And then you'll look up one day and you'll have all the support. You'll have more support than you ever thought was possible. So yeah, believe in yourself.
Hey, I'm Besa Gordon. You may have heard my voice on Hits 106.1 or seen me on Converge Media, but now I'm coming to TV. I'm hosting the newest show on Fox 13 called Back to Besa. Check us out every weekend for the hottest topics, interviews, the latest trends, and uplifting stories. We're going to have so much fun, and teens, we got you too. Back to Besa Saturday nights, 10:30 on Fox 13, and Sundays at 10 a.m. on Fox 13 Plus.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, and the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
Well, there it was. I was giving a shout out to my Converge crew. And as always, huge shout out to my director, Curtis Cuddy Delgado, for making sure that our stream stays nice and live for y'all with no glitches. But of course, there were so many people that carried the show. Shout out to Eric and Besa and Deontay and all the guests that came through while I was away. I just love and appreciate this Converge family to the utmost degree, because honestly, it does take a family to make these things happen. So I'm so grateful that they were able to step in my stead and keep it going for y'all Monday through Friday here at 11. And before I get to Kenneth, I got to say huge shout out to everyone who was on the tour with me. Those of you who have made this pilgrimage, you understand that it is a life-changing experience, but it was so great to be with so many phenomenal folks who we got to connect with over the time, really bonding as friends and family and having each other's backs and sharing stories and experiences. I'm telling y'all, if you can make your way to Kemet, I'm going to tell you, it is life-changing. You will come back renewed and refreshed, and probably understanding your purpose even more, because when you understand that ancient history and your role in it now, like the continuation, it's like mind-blowing. So huge shout out to everyone for being there, for going on that boot camp with us. We wrote it out, y'all. We made it home. But of course, I get to now talk to Kenneth Kellogg, man. He's a phenomenal star. I just got to first see him in the opera Blue. And y'all know that was my first opera, and I talk about it a lot. But here he is right here on the set with me. What's up, Kenneth?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am doing really well.
Well,
It's so good to be here.
I'm so glad to have you here. You know, we got to interview one of your colleagues for Blue, and so I'm glad that you're here now. But before we get into everything, I mean, you got to tell us your story, the start of you utilizing your voice in the world of opera.
Oh, it's a long story. I'll give you a short version. I was a quiet kid. I was a shy kid, and I had amazing teachers in school. In elementary school, I met my first love, music, through my elementary school music teacher. Her name was Carolyn Glover. I talk about her all the time because at that point, talk about history and lineage and continuation. Like, she was changing my life, and I didn't even know it. She loved music so much, and she infused that passion in me that it became my passion. So every opportunity I got to sing, and I thought about her and that love she had for music, and I just continued, and my path grew from that. I went to Performing Arts High School in Washington, D.C., Duke Ellington School of the Performing Arts. And from there, I got scholarships to go to University of Ohio, and then University of Michigan, then Academy of Vocal Arts. An opportunity kept coming to do music because of this love and passion I had for it. And it's just grown and gotten bigger over my life.
Yeah, it's so amazing to hear when stories have so much longevity like that, because you never know where a passion may take you when you're a young person. And it's a great reminder, I think, for a lot of young people who find themselves kind of dibbling and dabbling and stuff. But it's like, I tell my sons now, when you find the thing that really is like moving you, it's amazing, because you stick with it and you'll see some real results from it. So as you kind of come out of school and, doing it in, academically, how was it for you to make that trek to the professional world?
That's often a difficult path for singers, because you go from this protected environment of the university and people telling you what to do and what to sing, to all of a sudden having to make choices for yourself. What do I want to sing? What companies do I want to work for? And then you have operas. It's an expensive art form. You have to find your way how to navigate to opportunity. And I think a lot of singers have difficulty finding opportunity in an art form that it's kind of a niche market for some people. So I was able, again, to find great mentors. I was able to, I often tell singers to find their community. I was able to find people who believed in me and who appreciate what I had to offer the art form, and it just kind of grew.
Wow. I mean, that says something too, though, about your skill and talent, and clearly your dedication to it, because,
Absolutely.
it's not just all like, oh, it's just natural. No, you have to hone in on that, because opera is not like singing like in a normal choir or something like that. It's very specific.
It's very specific.
Tell us about some of that specificity in terms of like, hey, I love music. And now it's like, oh, I'm a full-fledged opera singer.
Yeah, opera, it takes a lot of skill. Like, so I started singing with natural talent, and that'll take you to an extent. It'll take you so far. But once you get into the nuance of the languages, singing in 5 different languages, having to memorize a whole entire opera score, having to work with people who don't speak your language, having to travel the world and interact with cultures that you may not have ever had any connection to. And there's a whole set of skills that go along with being an opera singer outside of singing that makes one successful or not.
Yeah, I could only imagine. I mean, I've talked to other opera singers, particularly about that language piece and just
Absolutely.
how important and integral that is in the art form of opera. But of course, I mean, I got to get to it because I saw you in Blue, and Blue for me is the first opera. I'm so grateful to Josh because Josh's like, no, I'm telling you, you got to come and see this. And I was like, well, okay, I don't know anything about opera, but let me interview one of the guys going to be on the, cast, and let me come. And then I stayed for the Q&A after. I was so intrigued by the entire process, because in my mind I thought, wow, you mean to tell me that there's a way to infuse Black folks' lived experience
Mm.
in the world of opera,
Mhm.
in this art form. And
Mhm.
I really had never contemplated that before, but you did such a phenomenal job. And
Thank
there
you.
was so much emotion in your role and in that entire show. Tell us about that experience for you.
Blue for me was a game changer. You know, I often say there's me pre-Blue and post-Blue. Um, Before I encountered Blue, I often felt like a guest in this world of opera. You know, I having to imagine myself being a king or the devil or a god. You know, those things are so foreign to me. So I was acting those parts. I was playing those parts. And often, you know, being a black man singing and, you know, singing, being King Philip singing as a black man, it's just, there's a disconnect there. But when I saw the libretto and heard the score for Blue for the first time for me, it was like, oh, that's me. You know, that's my father. You know, that's my auntie. That's my mother. Like, I know these people. Like a deep know these people. So for me, it was the first time I got to be on stage and just be myself, you know, and be a black man. And as all operas, there is that love and tragedy that happens in the stories. And Blue was written about police violence. It was written about, you know, the loss of a black life, which is a lot of what we were dealing with in society at the time that it was written. So there was a lot of raw emotions when I first started doing Blue. And I went in, I think it was the first time I could go into rehearsal and just be angry. You know, I was angry in those first rehearsals, but it was so cathartic to sing that score that we literally sat on the floor as a cast and cried sometimes because it was so much of a release. And as an artist, you know, do art because it touches something in you. Blue for me was the first time I could find myself in opera. It changed me. It changed how I perform. It changed how I approach every other opera after that.
That just gave me goosies, man. I mean, the idea that what you were experiencing and what the cast was experiencing internally was definitely felt, particularly I think by Black audience
Oh,
members
absolutely.
in the like there was a real. I mean, I was sitting next to, and I probably told this story before, y'all, so forgive me, but I was sitting next to an older white woman. And she was just bawling, right? And I was like, I can't really bawl because like this is like so real for me. Plus, with my activism hat on, I'm out here in the community. I'm leading protests, thousands of people behind me. I am experiencing a part of my life here. And so I just wanted to be so in tune to every moment of it that I didn't allow myself to get wrapped up in the emotion of it. And it was interesting because after some of the questions that were asked, it was clear there was such a huge disconnect for so many that were in the audience because like they've never been even exposed to this story because maybe they turn the channel when those news stories come up, or maybe they're not really, you know, they don't have to absorb it, right? And whereas for me, I'm like, I don't have a choice. I got two sons. You know what I mean, who are going to be Black men in this world. I don't have a choice. And so that part for me was so visceral and was so real. And I just have to thank you for it because y'all put everything on that stage. You gave it all. And it was something that was completely felt. I took my best friend with me. She was like, oh my gosh, what is this? I'm like, I know, right? What is this? And is this opera? So as you continue, clearly that has a big, leaves a big part for you, something that you carry forward into other roles. How would you say it really kind of changed you now as you look at the next role? I mean, now Das Rheingold, how do you then embody what you experienced there in the role you're playing?
Of course. So, Blue was so close. The first couple of roles I did after Blue that, were just foreign to me, like other operas, it felt empty, like it felt fake, So now I look for my way in through my Black lens, if that makes any sense. There's a cultural understanding of situation. And you realize every opera deals with the humanity of a person, or the humanity of a people. And before Blue, I never attached my own humanity to characters. I always thought what would it be like to be in this time frame? not necessarily thinking about what it would be like to be Kenneth in this time frame, what it would be like to have my life experience in this time frame. I thought, okay, a man in this time frame would do this, and I would put on that character. I would act. So now when I look at characters, I think of, what would Kenneth's life with his life experience be like in this time frame. So doing Das Rheingold, I've taken to social media, my social media, and I try to explain characters with a modern sentiment. So I always think about, what would Fafner listen to? What would his playlist be? And Fafner he's the Malcolm X of Das Rheingold. He is that character who, like, I wrote on Facebook, it's like, Fafner's not for the shits. Like, he wants what he wants. He did his job. Give him his money. Like, he doesn't want to hear anything else. So in thinking about that playlist and thinking about modern characters that I could attach to, so in Das Rheingold, there are two brothers. One is a lover, and one is like Tupac. So I was thinking about Outkast, and I was thinking about Andre and Big Boy. And they are a perfect analogy to Fafner and Fazol and Rheingold. And so this playlist, I had, Big Spitter, Give Me My, like Rihanna, of course. And then, Lil Wayne's Duffel Bag Boy, that is Fafner. So going from Blue, like, I attach, how my life experience would live through these characters, and I find the experience much more richer. And my community, people I talk to about opera in that way, they understand it so much better.
Wow. That's really deep. I've actually never heard anyone share that that's how you can get into character, but I am with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm completely with it because it makes so much sense to me and makes it more real, obviously, for you, right? But for me, again, I can't wait to see this. I'll be there on the 20th and I get to see it in action because I'm like, as you're explaining that, I know I'm going to feel that as an audience member. And that for me is one of the things that I have really began to understand and identify with my love for opera. And I've talked to Josh about this, but the idea that the stories take on so many different life forms and the music is the guiding light, but then there's so much more in terms of the costumes and the set.
Oh,
and,
absolutely.
How is that for Das Rheingold? I mean, are we getting into some stuff? Y'all got
the costumes are absolutely beautiful, and the makeup is like it's beautiful. It's one of those beautiful productions I've ever been a part of. The director and the designer are very creative in their producing this piece. I mean, it's kind of set in the future with this very earthy feel to it. It keeps you connected to the humanity of these characters. And I always say, I think that's the beauty of opera. The goal of an artist is to express something through whatever medium it is. We were telling your story about Kemet earlier and seeing the stone books. It hit me very recently that artists are the vehicle for culture. They're the vehicle for history. There's a lot of things that those people from Kemet don't exist anymore. They can't tell their stories. But the art that they left behind, so much can be gleaned from that. So to be an artist and to tell our story and leave that history for people, it's empowering to me as an artist. I love being a part of the art community for that reason.
Yeah, I'm right there with you in that regard. When I think about media, for me, I'm always using the term impact media, because if I'm not making an impact with my show here, the ways that I'm able to really just sit here, have an amazing conversation with you and share your life experience for the audience, like, what am I doing? If I don't have the platform that is uplifting stories that otherwise wouldn't be told, what am I doing? So there's always something for me that's that driving force. And I'm so glad that you had time in your busy schedule to be with me today. Like, this is just phenomenal. Of course, as you think about the one thing you want the audience to walk away from as they come and see Das Rheingold, let them know right there. I mean, what is that
Yeah.
one thing you want them to really walk away with?
I think Das Rheingold and Wagner in particular. I mean, opera. We'll just talk about opera in particular. Opera can often be intimidating because we feel like it's not a part of us. We feel like it's not telling our stories. But every story is told in opera. Opera is about the humanity of people. And being part of that human experience, your story can be found in opera.
Wow. Oh, well, I'll say I agree because I've been able to see plenty of them at this point, and I'm constantly, hit with the story, and it's like, oh, that's touching because it's somehow connecting to my own lived experience. Kenneth Kellogg, thank
My
you
pleasure,
so
my
much.
pleasure.
This has
Thank
been
you.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Wow. Y'all, of course, you got to get to Seattle Opera and get your tickets today. It is still going on. I'm going to be there on the 20th. I'm excited to see this live in full effect. And of course, to see Kenneth do his thing. So make sure you get your tickets today. Go right on over to Seattle Opera's website and buy your tickets, y'all. This is one of those shows where you want to bring your friends. You want to have that good experience. And he just let us know he's going to be putting it all out there on the stage once again. So make sure you get your tickets. Of course, I get to wrap it all up right after this short break. Stay tuned, y'all. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Hey, I'm Besa Gordon. You may have heard my voice on Hits 106.1 or seen me on Converge Media, but now I'm coming to TV. I'm hosting the newest show on Fox 13 called Back to Besa. Check us out every weekend for the hottest topics, interviews, the latest trends, and uplifting stories. We're going to have so much fun, and teens, we got you too. Back to Besa Saturday nights, 10:30 on Fox 13, and Sundays at 10 a.m. on Fox 13 Plus.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Richardson, spoken word artist. Come be a part of Poetry's Love Story and join us for a captivating fundraiser event, Poetry Love, on August 9th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Sankofa Theater. This event will feature an incredible lineup of renowned poets and one mesmerizing musician, all coming together to raise funds for the Sankofa Theater. Tickets are available now at sankofatheaterc.com. We'll see you there.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here. Right now I am with my exclusive fam, and in case you missed it, August is National Black Business Month. So of course, Converge Media is going to uplift different Black businesses across the Pacific Northwest, and we want for you to nominate your favorite by going to whereweconverge.com/Black Business Month. Again, that is whereweconverge.com/Black Business Month. And honestly, you never know. Your girl might pull up.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. What a phenomenal episode with Kenneth Kellogg today, y'all, from Das Rheingold. Make sure you go to Seattle Opera and get your tickets today. I cannot wait to see him on the stage once again. For any of y'all who have seen him in previous shows like I did in Blue, you're definitely up for a full treat, so make sure you tap in with him. Huge shout out to him for being here with me today. And I am so grateful that I am back and I get to start my week with all you lovely beings out there. Thank you so much for watching and supporting us here on The Day with Trae. Of course, y'all, I want y'all to be inspired by his story. You heard him share how he was a young person and found a love of music at a young age and continued on. And now he's on stages all over the world doing his part to be a part of the solution by uplifting and sharing stories and also making it clear that Black folks are involved in opera. So for all of you out there who think it's not for you, trust and believe I want to tell you, I've been transformed by all of the shows I've been able to see. I want y'all to come to the opera and be transformed. But even if you don't come, be inspired by his story so you too can find your way to see yourself as a part of the solution as Kenneth has. And of course, y'all, for me, until tomorrow at 11 a.m., peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.